I think one of my most important topic I really want to go over is, how these big organizations like hospitals, doctors, and all that things, how they influence
Right.
El Paso's diet and how they need to be more responsible. And what did you think of that fundraiser I showed you?
The cereal drive, aka the rabbit food drive. um, so, like I said, the humane part of me, like the 5% that's still human, is like, you know what, it's food, they gotta eat something. But then, like the other 95% was like, well, if they can get a cereal drive, they can get some fruit. They can get some sandwiches. They can get something else that is actual food. Because if you're going to use that in the list of foods that they were saying, it was just like, this isn't healthy. This is mass produced. This is genetically modified. There's a bunch of processed sugars and a bunch of processed everything. Essentially you're turning your child into a corpse from the inside out from an early age, because everything is a preservative. So you're just preserving the body for the time being.
And I think it's like, it goes on like, there's a lot of children starving out there, and they're hungry way before they go to bed. But we're feeding them bad food,
Right.
which is setting them up to be hungry later on. If you eat junk food, you're gonna have to eat in 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
And so yes, there are a lot of hungry children out there, because they're malnourished. We're not giving them the right food. So their body's like, I need real food, and you're not giving it to them, so they're constantly hungry. And I think that's really more punishment to these children out there. And then you're also teaching them, like, this is the way you're supposed to eat. What you learn when you're a child, that's gonna go with you the rest of your life. How hard is it gonna be for a child that's had cereal every day for the rest of their life when they get 30? How are they gonna get off that cereal diet?
Yeah, and with that, it kind of ties back into with the overall parents, just making sure everything is taken care of from a young age, because you see that cereal drive and you're just like you mean some of you couldn't do anything else. We can get any other food instead of just this, because you're developing bad habits from an early age that's not going to be broken. Who's going to check those bad habits?
And like, I think it's really hard. Kids don't think about, I want to be healthy. Kids have to be forced what to do. Because if I was like 6 years old and I had a bowl of cereal and some eggs, I don't know if I don't have the mental, I don't have the mental knowledge, like, you know what, I better have my eggs so I can be a healthy 30-year-old.
Right.
But a parent has that responsibility to be like, no, this is unhealthy. But I believe with the hospital saying, this is our food drive, this is a hospital-approved food, in my eyes.
And with that, that becomes extremely dangerous, because it's very deceiving. You're essentially turning those kids, you're turning everybody that watches. It's like, ooh, the hospital said this is cool, this is cool. It's essentially like saying this is the news telling you to do this. It's like, it's extremely dangerous, because again, you're turning into a guinea pig, because they're just like, oh, here.
And it makes me think of, like, we keep, history repeats itself. A long time ago, doctors used to promote smoking, and now we're promoting junk food. We're not learning from our mistakes. We're just, now it used to be big tobacco. Now it's these food corporations. The food corporations learn from big tobacco and are using the same tactics, and we're not learning from it.
Right, 100%. And it's all about the marketing. If you make something look appealing by using either an actor or using somebody that just looks like they're actually enjoying it or doing something like that, people are like, ooh, this is the form. It's kind of like a form of idolatry when you see that. Because when you see it, it's just like, well, if they're doing it, I should do it. And it's like, if you see somebody, like you said, with the smoking, it's just like with big tobacco, it's like, well, if they're smoking, I mean, clearly it's not that bad if they're doing it, not knowing that the actor was paid to do that and probably don't do that in their own life. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the same thing with the foods nowadays. If you see kids smiling in a commercial or, approved by this hospital and something like that, like, oh, okay, if they're approving it, it's cool. Well, it kind of kills it.
And like, when I saw that, I was just thinking, like, cereal is the worst possible food. I think having a high carb meal right in the morning is the worst possible thing. Our cortisol levels spike in the morning, so your sugar's already high. They're going to add more sugar onto that. You know what? So many children out there on insulin resistance, we're just adding more fuel to the fire. And you know what? I think when it comes to like organizations like hospital, they need to be very careful on what they promote. Because there's no problem. Kids love junk food. They're going to get it.
Right.
They're going to get the sugar, they're going to get the donuts. There's no problem with that kind of food getting into their system. I mean, they're not getting the protein, they're not getting the vitamins and minerals, and they're not getting home cooked meals. You know, like, and we need to like emphasize cooking a home cooked meal. And it probably would have been better for the hospital to be like, you know what, we're going to teach you how to do a home cooked meal. We're going to do a home cooked meal or whatever.
Right.
You know.
And again, that's just the basis of it, because it's just about marketing. And it's about how people believe it. You know, this is one of those things where they just fall into it and just be like, okay, and they just take it.
Yeah.
You know, you raise up a resistance, just take it. And it sucks. You know, and it's unfortunate, but you know, again, when you, like you said, with that food drive or the cereal drive, and you were just like, why?
Okay, and you're a coach, and you coach tons of children. Would you, what's a perfect diet, and what's the worst diet you'd put a kid on?
The cereal, you know, because it's like, if I want them to perform, whether like, let's just say I'm coaching one of my athletes, you know, they're getting ready for high school. You're right. And then you see that they're supposed to be eating properly, and then you see that they're, you know, the grades are struggling and everything, and you see their diet, and it's just cereal, and it's just like, you know, they get chips at lunch, and it's like, what? And then you get home and you stop by a fast food place, you're probably getting, you know, like what do you call it, Burger King or something like that, and then you're running off of that. And then what happens is you do that over and over and over and over, and it's just like, your athlete isn't. That's the worst possible thing you can do, because your body is just not taking anything. It's not taking any nutrients. Your body is in fight back mode because none of that is recognized as food. And your body is just like, oh, what are you doing to me? And you're not sleeping. And then you're not taking care of yourself. And then you're injury prone. And then you're extremely paranoid. And you're, ooh. And it's just one of those things versus whole food. Eggs in the morning, like you said, it may not be every kid's cup of tea, but it's just like, you know what? You won't feel bad after you have a couple eggs. Lunchtime. Same thing, have some protein, have some sort of sandwich or something like that, just something.
Yeah.
And the same thing with dinner, keep it lean, you know, get protein, make sure if you're gonna have some fruit, or there's your snack right there, you know what I'm saying? So that way you can balance everything out, and then you actually have actual food in your system for your body to digest. You'll be able to sleep, you'll be able to do whatever you gotta do to make sure you thrive. Difference in comparisons in diet, you're just like, wow, you know, you see it on a daily basis of what goes on. It's unfortunate, but that's, you know, my favorite is just go with that, more high protein.
And I think we have to be the assholes.
You have to be.
You know, like the hospital has to be assholes. We all have to be assholes because we're too nice. That nice children want to have cereal, but we need to be the grown-ups.
Right.
You know, I'm so glad I brought you on. I had such a great talk. This is James laid out. I would like to let you end the podcast. So what do you?
For me, I'm gonna go with the Voodoo Boy Queen V tip of the day for you. Is gonna be simple like this: stop making excuses now and regret it later. And what I mean by that is, if you're gonna go ahead and say you're too busy for this and sacrificing the time with your children, whether you know boy or girl, and just trying to go ahead get the quick fix solution for something, fast food, cheap this, bad food, you're gonna regret it later. Versus just taking the time to go ahead and cooking that meal, taking the time to get the proper groceries, taking the time to actually be there zoned in with your child, so that way you can go ahead and make sure they're healthy later on. Because the worst thing that you're going to see, your child get older and realize I could have been doing something different, and seeing them in a hospital bed, or even worse, seeing them in the grave because you decided to go ahead and take the easy outs, easy shortcuts. That's the worst thing you can do. You know what? Be that parent. Stop being a friend. Be the parent. Go ahead and handle your business from the early stage, so that way later on they'll be like, you know what? Say the same thing that I'm about to say right now to my mama. Thank you. Because to this age, I feel great versus a lot of the people that I grew up with that may be sick, that may be on medications that they shouldn't be on because they sacrificed that, or their parents sacrificed that. So don't cheat cut life with that. And if you're gonna eat junk food, or let me emphasize on junk food, chips, candy, cakes, anything that you can go ahead and pick up real quick, easy, with a bunch of preservatives and processed sugars and anything that could be dangerous, just to go ahead and save time, just to go ahead and be a quick fix solution, like, you know, it's going to be damaging in the long run, because your child's going to pay for that. You know, you're going to pay for that just because you're living that influence. Your child looks at every single thing you do. You know, if they see you taking that, they're going to take it. If they see you eating that, they're going to eat it. If they see you doing all these bad habits, they're going to have those bad habits. And those quick fix solutions that you're doing, instead of taking the time and making sure everything's done right, is going to be the one that's going to bite you in the butt later on, period.
Well, thank you so much. I had a great time.
Thank you so much.